Well, hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your October reading. Of course, there will be timestamps in the description box below. General, love, and spiritual. We're doing 3 readings. I've been fiddling with my microphone, and I think I have fixed the issue. So, fingers crossed that this will resolve it. But okay, so let's talk about October, Capricorn. Okay. We have Goddess in reverse, exploitation of the female nature and form. I don't actually feel like this is negative, but we'll talk about it. Man holding a heart. Fourth chakra, more heart energy. Okay, so emotional month. Rest and rejuvenation. Solitude. So this is the Four of Swords, this is the Hermit, and then we have the Seven of Cups, which is choose wisely in this deck, okay? So, I feel like you're redirecting your energy this month. And what I mean by that is, you know what you can do. You know what you can have. You know that when you put your energy into something, you really put your energy into it. You know, like you make it happen. Capricorns have this sort of, I call it a abundance bug. Like when you focus on something, it grows regardless. It could be something positive, negative, it grows, right? And it has something to do with the like a spirit of dedication. Okay, I'll leave it at that. But that's just from my observation. Um, and I feel like you're starting to realize the power in which you put your passion into things. When your passion is in something, it grows and multiplies. And I feel like because you're tapping into that energy, Capricorn, you're like, well, how can I use this to the best of my abilities? You know, like to help myself, to help my goals, to build my career. What can I do? Like by using that. So I feel like you're working on your heart space. This is networking. This is connecting with customers. This is connecting with others. This is expanding. There's expansion here as well. I feel like there's a lot of nurturing, you know? It's like the kind of respect you give to yourself and others, compassion, acceptance, not judging a situation before you're like, you know what? Like if something negative happens, like if you're trying to achieve a goal and this one thing doesn't work, you're like, okay, well, let's move on to something else. I'm not going to hold it to heart, you know? It's a very flexible energy that I feel from you, but it's good because you're using that dedication bug to make things happen for yourself, right? So it's not that you've been in a rest. It's not that you've been pulling back, but considering, Capricorn, hear me out. Considering how you can usually make things happen, how you can usually do things, you could do better, right? And you're connecting those two things. So you know that you could do better, and you're like, well, how can I do better? What do I need to change to make that happen? I want to utilize all the possibilities, not just A, B, and C. I want A.3. I want A.5. I want B. I want B.1, B.2, B.3, B.3.6. You know, I said 3.6. 0.36. You know, there's lots of room in between. And so you're like, it doesn't have to just be this. You know, there's other ways to get there. There's other aspects that I can look into that could make this situation better for me. So it's a very good energy, Capricorn. I just feel like it's a redirection. Also, you know what it kind of feels like for those of you who may have been doing the same, sorry, my leaves, doing the same things at work or having the same routine. You're switching up the routine in a more positive way, like in a more helpful way to yourself. So this is helpful energy. This is not bad at all, okay? Palace of Wands, Six of Cups, Four of Wands, Tree of Life, Empress. See that? I'm telling you, there's so much growth energy in October for you. I love it. Nine of Cups, Five of Swords, Ten of Coins, Queen of Cups, Seven of Cups, Palace of Coins. Yeah, so this is an evaluation of only choosing one way. This is like, I've done things this one way, I will keep doing it this way. But in October, all that energy changes for you, Capricorn. And you're starting to try to do things differently. Look into other options. What could work better? You're expanding, which is absolutely beautiful. But you're expanding from where you've been, okay? It's especially because we have the Empress in the middle. And the Empress in the middle dictates growth. That's what she does. She nurtures things to make growth. So there is a little action in here to make that happen. But I feel like you can make that happen. And I love that the Ten of Coins is right next to it, because it talks about longevity. It talks about building. It's almost a guarantee if you put that energy in there. Okay. But in order to make that happen, in order to connect to that energy, you have to leave the past behind. It's not going to fit you anymore. Okay. What you have done, it worked then. That's absolutely great. But you're moving forward. Okay. You're moving forward. You're expanding. This is the new way. Some of you may be rebranding in a lot of ways, like rebranding yourself. Okay. And all this comes from seeing that you're trying to stay within perimeters, and make changes within perimeters, but that's not working. So there's a lot of expansion outside of your comfort zone. I feel like the months leading up to this, Capricorn, have kind of loosened you up to be able to do that and not think so negatively about it. So that's what we got here. Okay. Okay. I see this being a change that you needed. It's like you had the opportunity for growth, but there was a block because I feel like you didn't want to experiment. You know, it's like afraid of change, and not necessarily afraid. You just maybe didn't have the direction, but now you do. Everything's fixed. This is the Band-Aid, right? And I feel like you don't want to leave. This is like, I don't want to leave a job. I don't want to leave the situation. I like my house. I like my career. I like my goals. But you're like, I need to find a new direction. And I feel like there was a point where you thought about leaving it, or you thought about, maybe this isn't for me. You had these moments, but you decided to stay. And this is the change that is needed. And it's going to work out with the Nine of Cups. You're going to be happy with what's happening. You're going to be happy that you get to keep it. You're going to be happy that there's structure. Okay. Now, I feel like there are some moments, okay, where it's not going to be fun, because making change means that other things change, other situations change, other structures change, and you have to accept that. The Five of Swords is always about picking and choosing your battles. So you know that there's going to be a good outcome for this. It is uncomfortable, but you're like, I can work through it. You know why? Because it's for my future. So I see with the Queen of Cups, you're dealing with emotional things, right? You're satisfied, you're happy, but let me elaborate on this, because I'm feeling a couple of things with it, and I want to yeah. So there is a little bit of getting out of your comfort zone here. Okay. And there's a little bit of pessimism, because you kind of have to open up or be vulnerable. And this means like stepping out of your hiding spot. Okay, this means like reconnecting with the world, because that's the only way that it can get done. And I feel a little bit of uncomfortableness surrounding it. But positivity, growth, I love it. You can do it. Thumbs up. Okay. So let's get into your love reading, Capricorn. Okay. So we have the Queen. Becomes arrogant with authority when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. In the reverse, it's safe for you to love. Oh, I know exactly where this is going. Love yourself first. Coming together, which is the Two of Cups. Three of Wands, which is reaching out. And teach, which is the Hierophant. This is residual energy. What I mean by that at Capricorn is you haven't had the best track record when it comes to love. I can feel like leading up to this moment, right? And because of that, you've kept yourself safe. Some of you have cut off love. Some of you are very harsh on new people that you are choosing to date. But you are really, honestly and truly, you can make excuses. You can say you're not doing it, but you've put up a certain block when it comes to love to stop it. Not stop it, but to protect yourself. That's better. That's a better explanation. In October, because you're thinking about abundance and growth and actions you have to take to get there, i.e., I'm referring back to the general reading, you have decided to try to do love again, like to really open up, to try to maybe step out of your comfort zone and express yourself, connect with others, make friends, go on dates, join dating apps, things like that. Like you're getting yourself out of a particular tight space, I can see. And the first part of that is realizing your boundaries, because I feel like for a lot of you that has been the problem, okay, is realizing that you love so hard or you care so much that you forget about your specific boundaries, and then you wear yourself out by pushing those boundaries, stretching those boundaries to no ends, and then you're like, I hate love is not for me. Okay, so a lot of it has to do with boundaries. Let's see. King of Swords, Queen of Swords, Five of Coins, Three of Coins, Six of Wands. I love that that's in the middle. Page of Cups, Four of Wands, Judgment, Temperance. This ends really good though. Chariot and the Seven of Coins. Okay. Where you invest your time and energy, this is how love energy works. It's just a reminder. Where you invest your time and energy, whether good or bad. Remember I said you had that abundance bug? That's in the general reading as well. So many references back to that. So wherever you put your energy, that's what grows. That's what expands. Okay? Same goes for love. You know, so if you put your energy and time into something negative in an unhealthy relationship, it just grows. It's like you're feeding it, you know, you're making it larger. If it's a beautiful, healthy connection, that's what you're growing. That's what you're nurturing. That's what you're attracting. So with the Six of Wands in the center, this tells me, like I said, you have that abundance bug. Whatever you put that energy into, that's what's going to grow in October. But what's interesting is you have a different mindset with both of these Kings of Swords. You have a different mindset. So I'm telling you, there was a relationship in your past, or you currently could be in one, or you just left one, that was not was harsh. I feel like there was a lot of mental play back and forth, and you were like, maybe it's me. And you know why? Because you wanted to be flexible, because you wanted to be open, because you wanted to try. Okay? And that's okay. Nothing's the matter with that. It's just that you were in a situation where a person was kind of a wordsmith slash manipulator. So they use their words or intelligence to confuse you. And this is not that you're not intelligent. It's just that you were in a vulnerable state because you wanted to care and you wanted to love and you wanted to be open. So you kind of were listening to those words. That's the result of it. And it left you alone. Okay? It left you alone. And at this point, you are now in a place where you are reconsidering your values, what you want in relationship, how to be empathetic or to be empathetic at all. And sometimes for most of us, earth signs in general, we tend to shut down. Once love has hurt us, we go extreme. Like once we have problems with money, we stop spending it. Once we have, once we have problems with love, we stop doing it. We have a conversation that gets out of hand, we stop talking. It's kind of like those extremes. But I feel like that's changed you. Like you see that and you see that there's no value in doing those extremes. So that's changing, right? And you're thinking about connections and building relationships and how important these are to have these bonds, okay? Like realigning back with the world, with dating, with love. So, you really don't have a lot of people, I feel like, to do this thing with or to trial this with. So that's why I feel like there's expansion here. This is getting to know other people. This is dating apps. I feel like you're just trying to get out into the world, right? It's not going to be fun. I feel like the first couple of weeks it's gonna be like trash and you're gonna be like, what in the world did I get myself into, right? And you're thinking this is a bad idea, but you have to build up sort of a rapport, I'll say that, with whatever you're doing. Like you gotta kiss some frogs, okay. Eventually you will get used to this new idea or this new energy that you're trying to bring in. It will happen, okay? It's just going to take some time. I'll give it about 30 days or so, but you got to get into the swing of things, I feel like. Before you'll learn how to make the proper judgments on the proper people, like a real red flag, not like just made up red flags, but like real ones, like if they don't email me back within 3 days, do I really want to deal with this type of thing? Okay. But I see you learning like a balance when it comes to dating between having patience and when someone's being manipulative or rude or they're missing something. They don't have that thing that you need. They're not open to exploring the connection or revealing insecurities, and sometimes right off the back we don't, but there has to be a sense of vulnerability when you're getting to know a person. All right, because if it's not, it's a job interview. Let's be honest. All right, okay, that's it. I'll stop talking and we'll get into your spiritual reading, Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, let's get into some spiritual energy in October. Okay. Your trials and triumphs, but it's more of the trials. It's like you had to go through a lot of things. I'll say this about your energy, Capricorn, and it's because we have that Saturn, that planet Saturn, just bouncing around in our energy, that we have to go through a lot of struggles. But those struggles that we go through teach us things the hard way. And it has a lot to do with us being stubborn, right? It's not like, oh, everything's so difficult for us. We don't respond to nudges. So that's why it always seems really hard or really deep every time something happens to us, okay? But we do build solid wisdom and knowledge from the things that we go through. It has to do with us being very observant. Destruction is not always bad. Rebuilding is not always bad. It's like we have to have trust in the lessons that Saturn brings to us. But what I like about October is about building. It's about structure, and it's about solidifying the things that we have learned, the challenges turning into success. And because of that, our life turns very magical in a way in October. And as long as we stick with the plan, as long as we open our eyes up, as long as we heal, everything will work out great. It's like if you let spirit in, if you let the lessons in, you let the spiritual wisdom in, you'll be absolutely fine. So we have mysticism, acceptance, joy, and isolation. Yeah. October brings us vision through intuition and lessons. So instead of thinking of only hardships, we're thinking, what is the benefit from this? How can I use this to better myself? So you're accepting where you are currently, the choices that you have made in the past. This is your truth. This is what you have to work with. And that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. It's a part of who we are. We're accepting that, right? But what are the changes that we're going to make moving forward? So you're using your wisdom to fix injustices that have already been kind of solidified in your life. And it ends up being quite successful. So where things were imbalanced, they get balanced. Where you weren't necessarily in the best situation when it comes to your emotions or love, communication or acceptance, all that changes as well. Relationships get better. Intuition gets better, right? So all the things that we have kept to ourselves, or we used isolation for comfort, that's going to change because it became almost a scapegoat, right? So your intuition does help with that. Yeah. There's a you don't know everything, and that's okay. But it doesn't mean that you have to shut down. It doesn't mean that you have to be possessive of change, like change and wanted to be angry as a default. All that changes. It's almost like your energy is lightening up, Capricorn, and it allows you to see things from different perspectives and bring different energy in for yourself so you can make changes. And honestly, I see nothing but growth as long as you're dedicated to this idea of using change in a positive manner. Okay? So I love you, and I will talk to you next month. Bye-bye.